Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music, and this is the fifth and last video I'm doing today about Beefheart related bands and Beefheart bands and their members and projects they did on the side. And today's I'm really pushing it a little bit because this band never recorded, but the lineup is so intriguing. It's definitely a great lost rock band album that I still dream about. In this case, once again, it's not necessarily a lost album because they didn't record anything, but it is a lost opportunity. It's too bad we didn't get to hear this band. And the band is called Blues in a Bottle, and they existed from 1966 to 1967. And it's kind of amazing considering the musicians involved and in this era of 66, 67 that they didn't manage to record anything. And it's really a shame. And because the lineup is basically an all-star roster that would eventually end up in the Captain Beefheart band. And so Blues in a Bottle was Mark Boston on bass, Jeff Cotton on guitar, Bill Harkleroad on guitar, and John French on drums. And I'm really pushing it, posting a video about this band, of course, because they didn't record anything. And it's really a shame. But it's just such an all-star lineup. And even though it's an early period of the band of these players from 66 to 67, the lineup is just so stellar. And to have both Jeff Cotton and Bill Harkleroad on guitars, because Jeff Cotton, of course, ended up playing in the Beefheart band, as did Bill Harkleroad, as did Mark Boston, as did John French. So essentially, this is an early version of what would become the Magic Band without Captain Beefheart. And of course, you can listen to Safe as Milk, the first Captain Beefheart album, and you can listen to Mirror Man, and you can tell by listening to those records what the possibilities would have been for this band, Blues in a Bottle. And certainly in 1966 and 1967, and having not really been exposed to Captain Beefheart at that point, they probably were a straight blues band. But that said, John French and Bill Harkleroad and Jeff Cotton and Mark Boston all would have become players of really crazy abstract stuff that they would end up doing with Beefheart. But they're such great players that even if this band was just a straight blues band, they would have been stellar because John French is a great drummer. Mark Boston is a great bass player, and Jeff Cotton and Bill Harkleroad especially are great guitar players. And the fact is, they would have had enough technique, even at that stage, to do something amazing because it was only a year later, or even the same year in some cases, that these musicians ended up playing with Beefheart and were playing incredibly difficult, amazingly abstract and incredible music on their respective instruments. And just the fact that Blues in a Bottle had two guitar players, especially of this caliber, would have made the band really interesting. I don't know who's doing the singing at that point. Of course, John French, we know, can sing and has sung. So he would possibly be the singer in this band. But boy, what a shame. What a shame we don't have any recordings by this band. Even one single would be worth it just to hear what they were doing. And I've read a lot of interviews with John French and Bill Harkleroad and the other members of this band, and they don't really elaborate on what kind of music Blues in a Bottle was doing. I'm going to keep my search up. Hopefully one of them will go into more detail. Most of the interviews I've read, they just mentioned that they had this band. Nobody really goes into any descriptions at length at what they sounded like, but I'm so hardcore about Beefheart, and I'm so hardcore about bands that could have been, bands that were briefly and then disappeared, and records that should have existed but didn't, because I'm a true rock nerd. So anyway, wow, Blues in a Bottle, we'll never know. I'm Brian Fox. Thanks for watching I Hate Rock Music.